I accept this sword for my sister, for my clan, and for all of Mandalore.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Mandalorians.
Our strength was once in our numbers. Now we live in the shadows and only come above ground one at a time.
For generations, my ancestors fought proudly as warriors against the Jedi. Now, that woman tarnishes the very name Mandalorian.
What do you think you're doing?
What does it look like? Art.
For this list, we'll be looking at the coolest, most iconic, and important Mandalorians from both the Star Wars canon and Legends. Who's your favorite Mandalorian? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10, Bo-Katan Kryse.
So you remember me? Don't worry. Death Watch is gone.
A leader, warrior, and morally complex character, Bo-Katan is everything you want from a Mandalorian.
No outsider will ever rule Mandalore.
First introduced in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the character was originally a member of the terrorist organization Death Watch. At this point in the history of Mandalore, theirs was becoming a pacifist society, but a substantial and proactive faction of Mandalorians wanted to return to their warrior roots. Bo-Katan was among them. Though this leads the character to embrace some regrettable tactics and allies, Bo-Katan's honorable nature wins out in the end. Over the course of the Clone Wars and Rebels, she's proven herself to be a good friend and leader.
I accept this sword for my sister, for my clan, and for all of Mandalore.
In 2020, Bo-Katan made the jump to live action in The Mandalorian.
I am Bo-Katan of Clan Kryse. I was born on Mandalore and fought in the Purge. I am the last of my line. And you are a child of the Watch.
Number 9, Duchess Satine Kryse. Some siblings are like two peas in a pod. In the case of Bo-Katan and Satine, however, these sisters couldn't be more different. Duchess Satine, when first introduced, caught many Star Wars fans off guard. Her peaceful version of Mandalore was a far cry from the warrior civilization we'd been reading about for years. She doesn't wear a helmet and might not even be recognized as a Mandalorian until she identifies herself as such. But it's all the ways in which she deviates from the Mandalorian archetype that makes her stand out.
Not everyone on Mandalore believes that our commitment to peace is a sign of progress.
Satine is a strong-willed and influential politician with a grand vision for her people. Her storyline is sadly a tragic one, but there's no denying her influence on Star Wars history.
Remember, my dear Obi-Wan.
I've loved you always. I always will.
Number 8, Gar Saxon.
It's been a while since we had a fight like this. Are you ready?
While there are many Mandalorians on our list today who fit the description of hero or anti-hero, we're considering characters from all across the ethical spectrum. Gar Saxon was a member of Death Watch. Unlike Bo-Katan, however, redemption was never really in the cards for him. He was staunchly supportive of Darth Maul and would later serve Palpatine, becoming Mandalore's Imperial Viceroy and Governor.
I am Gar Saxon, Imperial Viceroy of Mandalore. And you, rebel, are now my prisoner.
While Saxon isn't going to win any popularity contests, he's a perfect representation of the single-mindedness common in Mandalorians, a warrior through and through. He might not be a figure to admire, but he earns his place on this list for his brutality, leadership, and seriously cool set of armor. Number 7, Vizla. Like Bo-Katan and Gar Saxon, Vizla was not content with the way of life established by the new Mandalorians.
For generations, my ancestors fought proudly as warriors against the Jedi. Now, that woman tarnishes the very name Mandalorian.
As the leader of Death Watch, he set out to return his people to their warrior roots. After having his efforts thwarted on numerous occasions, however, he turned to Darth Maul for assistance.
Perhaps fortune brought us together.
It is the will of the Force. We can help you reclaim Mandalore.
Mandalorians are often cited as among the few non-Force wielding groups that can hold their own against the Jedi. Vizla certainly lives up to that reputation. When he inevitably came to blows with Darth Maul, Vizla showcased incredible skill and a unique fighting style worthy of his people. Plus, considering he's not force sensitive, you've gotta admit that he's pretty handy with a lightsaber. Number 6. Tarvisla. There's not a whole lot that we can know with certainty about Tarvisla, but like many of the franchise's most compelling characters, the mystery is part of this Mandalorian's appeal.
Legend tells that it was created over 1,000 years ago by Tarvisla, the first Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order.
As the story goes, Tarvisla was the first Mandalorian to become a Jedi. Consider how formidable Mandalorians are on the battlefield. Okay, now add force sensitivity and Jedi training on top of all of those Mandalorian skills. What you get is a warrior legend.
Well, you were just a baby, so you couldn't come, but Father brought me here to see the statue of Tarvisla, the ancient Mandalorian ruler.
Tarvisla's lightsaber, the dark saber, is totally unique, and following Tar's ascendancy as the ruler of Mandalore, the dark saber has been considered a symbol of leadership amongst the Mandalorian people. We can only hope that we one day get to see this legendary Mandalorian Jedi in action. Number 5. Candaris Ordo, also known as Mandallore the Preserver.
My name's Candaris Ordo. I work for Kang in the Exchange. The hours aren't great, but they promised me a fortune to work for them, and I have nothing better to do.
Another Mandalorian from a bygone era, Candaris Ordo fought in the Mandalorian Wars, which spanned 16 years from 3976 BBY to 3960 BBY. While his name might not mean much to those who've only watched the movies and TV shows, Ordo is well known to those who played the Knights of the Old Republic video games.
Normally I do this myself, but everyone knows who I work for.
Also known as Mandallore the Preserver, Candaris Ordo distinguished himself in combat during the Mandalorian Wars. Though he and his fellow Neo-Crusaders were ultimately defeated by Revan, he and the legendary Jedi/Sith later became allies and friends. At Revan's encouragement, Ordo would go on to unite the Mandalorians anew, and become one of the greatest leaders in the history of their civilization.
We've got what we came for. We should get going.
Number 4. Sabine Wren. Sabine Wren is cut from a different cloth. While Mandalorians tend to be a stoic, impersonal bunch, Sabine is very much an individual, and she doesn't shy away from her feelings.
That might be the Mandalorian way, but it's not my way. Not anymore.
She's an artist and warrior, which makes for an oddly compelling combination.
What do you think you're doing?
What does it look like? Art.
Sabine's artistry and willingness to push back against the status quo makes her an inspiration to many. Thankfully, she's also got the combat skills to back it up. Honestly, it's hard to imagine the crew of the Ghost having made it through so many scrapes without her. Sabine Wren might not be very good at following orders, but over time she evolved into a natural leader. She would go on to play a pivotal role in the liberation of Lothal. Number 3. Mandallore the Ultimate.
Welcome to the Battle of Malachor 5, Revan. We meet at last.
Mandallore is the ruler of the Mandalorian people and planet Mandallore. A bit confusing, we know. Mandallore being an honorific title, however, each ruler adds a descriptor to distinguish themselves from Mandallore's past and future. These titles in general tend to be pretty self-aggrandizing, but as one of the greatest Mandallores in history, Mandallore the Ultimate actually lives up to the name.
Mandallore the Ultimate sought to create the most powerful army in the galaxy. To achieve this, he had to defeat the Republic and its Jedi protectors.
This fearsome ruler led his people during the Mandalorian Wars. He ultimately fell at the hands of Revan, but what Mandallore the Ultimate accomplished up to that point was staggering.
Revan single-handedly slew Mandallore. He then activated a superweapon which destroyed an entire planet, and everyone on it.
His conquests were far-reaching and revitalized the Mandalorian people, encouraging them to fully embrace their warrior heritage, while also redefining what it meant to be a Mandalorian. Number 2. Boba Fett. We know, this character's status as a Mandalorian is contentious, and the same goes for his father, Jango Fett.
I recently encountered a man who wore Mandalorian armor. Jango Fett.
Jango Fett was a common bounty hunter. How he acquired that armor is beyond me.
It's been claimed that they were in fact just bounty hunters in Mandalorian armor. Part of the confusion, however, stems from the fact that Boba Fett was introduced before the Mandalorians. It was his design and popularity that led to the creation of this warrior civilization, and the rest, as they say, is galactic history.
What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
With his incredible skill and no-nonsense approach, Boba Fett has distinguished himself as one of the most legendary bounty hunters in the trade. Though he was long thought to have died in the Sarlacc pit, his story isn't over yet.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Din Djarin. Boba Fett may have been the inspiration behind the Mandalorians as a people, but Din Djarin has brought them to the forefront of pop culture. The titular character of the very first live-action Star Wars series, Jaren has pushed the franchise in bold new directions to spectacular results. And thanks to this serialized approach, we've really gotten to know and love this helmeted hero. He's got the skills we've come to expect from his people, and takes great pride in following the Mandalorian creed.
Take it off. Or I will.
Crafted in the mold of classic Western stars, he's a stoic protector. But underneath that Beskar armor beats a heart of gold. Din Djarin is the Mandalorian we've long been dreaming of, and we can't wait to see what the future holds for him.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.